Greetings everyone. I'm sorry for not making videos recently. It is because I just recovered from a bad cold, and I always wonder, why I always get sick while others are okay. Like my father is old man, but he does not catch this cold. But I'm like sick. I guess I'm having some bad immune system, and I'm not good at combating these germs and something like that. And some of you may wonder what's wrong with my hair. I asked my daughter to tie my hair like a Chinggis Khan, this dividing it into two parts, but it happened to be like this. So this is a part of my today's talk, and it seems some germs can be very smart that when someone enters the room, the germs get activated and you want to sneeze or you want to cough, so that the germ wants to transmit itself, something like that. Anyway, I guess I have defeated this monster, something like that. Something like that. Oh, I wonder why I always say that. Where I was. Yeah, I was talking about the dark side, and this is serious stuff. But I guess this is not so serious stuff because while I was sick, I was thinking that most, these commoners, not most, there are lots of commoners, who do not care something called culture and tradition. They want to live a normal life. They want to live somewhat fancy life. They are after money and they are after food and all the these little things in life. And sometimes they develop this need for spirituality, and they go to the lamas or they go to the Christian church and they go to some some organization or groups that this teaches the how to fix yourself, how to fix your household, and how to fix the state, something like that. Or they go to a shaman, something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that some commoners do not care about these commandments. They do not care about these rules, something like that. For example, if you are a poor being, you cannot make this solid clothing. So you cannot follow the rule. The back should be solid, or shoulder should be solid. And you simply join your fabrics together, and you get this clothing, and you basically do not care about the clothing style or code, this traditions, etc. Speaking of this clothing code, it's very simple. What kind of clothing code there can be among the Mongols? Well, it's very simple. If you're a Mongol, you should look like a Mongol, something like that, and you should dress like a Mongol, and being a Mongol is being different from the others. You do not want to look like a Chinese, you do not want to look like a Tibetan, Uyghur, or what else, Russians or Kazakhs, etc., etc. So you have this own unique clothing style. You try to have your own unique clothing style, something like that. And if you're also a religious being, or if you're a priest, if you're a preacher, something like that, you should have a clothing that is not similar what this opposing these religious people are wearing. For example, Christians, this Russian Orthodox, or this this Christian, this how to say, pastors, pastors seems to dress in dark, solid dark dress. So I guess you can avoid such a clothing. And in the case of Buddhism, the high lamas, or the biggest lamas, is called hambas, something like that. These popes or these high lamas here in Mongolia usually wear dead with the black edge. So if you're from a dark side, you try to avoid such a clothing style. And if you wear a date with a very big black edge, you do not look like a Mongolian. You look like a Sino-Tibetan or Chinese Tibetan or even a Manchu. You must know that Manchu also had this clothing with a black edge. You can see the this Manchu emperors, this dress, how they dress. They have thick black edge. I have this put the pictures in the description below, that if you dress like this, you are not uniquely Mongolian. You look like your neighbors. So probably you want to dress like Chinggis Khan, having this two hair and this somewhat solid dress, like Hang or something like that. And you can see this other Persian this manuscripts where how these Mongols are dressed like, and do they really having this black edge, something like that. So staying a Mongol and staying this having this unique clothing is obviously important, because you want to have a state to fix, something like that. When I this preach that you fix yourself, then fix your household, and fix your state, someone said, "Oh, that's Confucius." That's really confusing. That's really stupid. When this when someone says like this, love your neighbor, someone is like, "Oh, that's Confucius." This is this wrong, because Confucius never says such stuff. This fix yourself, fix your this household, and fix the state. Confucius did say similar stuff, but it's opposite of what I'm saying. Confucius did say, in order to fix the world, in order to put the world in order, not exactly fixing, it's putting the world in order. We need to put the state in order, and we need to put the family in order. We need to put ourselves in order, and we need to put our hearts in order, something like that. So this putting your heart and putting your the world in order is cut. It's not used in Mongolian, in the case of Mongolian, because it is impossible for to put your heart in order. If you try to put everyone's heart in order, you have this religious persecution or very totalitarian regime that you want to control everyone's heart, and everything must be in somewhat order and stuff. So in order to have development, in order to have freedom, etc., etc., our hearts must have some flaws. And I guess such a dumb people can exist, like, oh, that's Confucius, something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that the middle part of this Confucius is, in order to put the state in order, the family, we must put the family in order, and we must put ourselves in order, something like that. But he speaks from the up to bottom. I'm speaking from bottom to up, which is, if you can fix yourself, you can marry and you can fix your household. And if you're doing well with your company, family, etc., etc., you can go up and you can fix the state. If you state have a this problem, something like that. So this is possible in modern times. This is possible now because we are living such a free, 21st century, something like that. It is impossible for this Chinese peasant to fix himself and then fix his family and then fix the state. It's fixing the state or this governing it, etc., etc. It's all about matters of a nobleman. In order to remove this nobleman, you have this French Revolution or a British Civil War. You need this conflict like communism in order to lower class people really can, you know, this climb up the social ladders. I do believe that nowadays we have this freedom that you know, this a common man can get education, fixing himself, get married, you know, fixing the household, and then you know, this finding his position in life. Position in life is basically, you know, this politics. You know, this if you cannot find your position, you know, this view of this world, others going to decide what you should do or think, something like that. So when you know, this, when you say such a simple teachings, when someone says, you know, this, oh, that's Confucius, that's going to be very stupid, or these people are deliberately doing it because maybe they have a Chinese blood, or they are brainwashed, or they are really dumb, something like that. And you know, this, speaking of loving your neighbor, Confucius did not say, you know, this, love your neighbor. Confucius did say that the Northerners, or Ti-rens, Northerner is called Ti-ren. Ti-rens are worse than the Southerners, or Chinese, something like that. It is like saying that, you know, this Mongols are much better than the Russians. You know, this Russians are up there, and you know, this Russians, even, you know, with, you know, this Confucius did say, even with the you know, with the lords, these Northerners are worse than us, something like that. So I guess Mr. Confucius was not only confusing, but he was quite racist towards us. Well, what else? Yeah, these you know, things sometimes go opposite in compared to China. For example, in China, young girls have this, you know, two hair. Young girls have a two hair. When they marry, their two hair becomes one, and they have this fancy wife hair. But here in Mongolia, young girls have only one hair, and when, according to Khalkha, in this old tradition, when a woman is married, her hair is divided into two, and she has this big, you know, this two hair. So things are opposite of in China. In China, young girls have two hair, but here in Mongolia, wives had two hair, something like that. So, yep. Well, that's pretty much for today, and thanks for watching.